Today, I want to talk to you about a way I work with my client that really helps transform their career trajectory or the leadership trajectory that is often overlooked by most career or leadership coaches that are often very good on helping you give tactical steps or logical steps, but not always are going to the addressing the deeper issue and you get stuck with it. And why you actually may need deeper coaching to actually get fully unstuck in your career or in your leadership. I'm Isabelle Perichou. I'm a leadership and career reinvention coach. I've worked for years with 200, I've helped 200 leaders and high achieving professionals get from a career they hate to a career they love, very fulfilling for them, or to step into the next level of their leadership or their purpose in their work. And what I often notice when I work with my client, this is a regular pattern, that to get from point A to point B, so wherever they start with when they come to work with me, whether they are like, I'm successful in my work, I've done it for a while, but it's not fulfilling anymore. I want to do something that has more meaning and purpose, but I don't know what it is. Whether I need to change or not, I don't know. Or I want to step into the next level of my leadership or my purpose, but I need support to get there. So from point A to point B. And of course, and we need to address that through there are two things that need to be addressed to be able to successfully have to help my client go from point A to point B. And I made a quick diagrams for you that I probably need to improve and make a little bit better. But on the spur of the moment, I was inspired by that. So you have to get point A to point B, there is here what I call more the external transformation or shift or the steps you need to take. So this is what comes to mind, what are the external solutions, how to take the actual steps, being clear what I want to do next, what step do I need to take, what career is good for me. So all these things on the external world that often people think about. And this is really important to have that move through. However, sometime on this journey, there is a point where we hit some roadblocks. Like even if, for example, my client is clear about what they want, they cannot take the steps. Or whatever it is, they move there, and there's a point where it gets stuck and they cannot move along. And often because this part here has not been addressed and need to be addressed. And this is where we do the deeper coaching and when we do more the inner transformation. And if we don't address that, this part is gonna keep staying stuck and feeling like running in circles and wondering why this is not moving. Why, for example, I have clarity, but I'm not able to take the steps. Or why, I know what I'm supposed to do, but it doesn't work. I cannot get it. Why I get stuck in the same, cycle, for example, vicious cycle. And this is often because there is a deeper inner roadblocks that needs to be addressed. And for that to be able to move. So if this is not addressed, this some point gonna get stuck. And let me share with you example of a client I just did a session with today. So it's why it's just fresh in my mind. But this is very common among my clients. And this is why you may get stuck, of why potentially you have worked also with other coaches and like something is just not getting unstuck in your career or leadership journey or purpose journey. And so this client came to me today, and I'm just not gonna, respecting the confidentiality and the privacy, so I'm not gonna share a lot of details about it. But what I can tell you, so it's a client who I've worked with for a while. We worked back several years ago, and I helped her really clarify what she wanted to do, align with her purpose in her careers. And as a result, she stepped into that and she changed career drastically, and she ended up working in human resources for an international consulting agency. And she reached back to me lately because she realized, oh, there is another iteration of a purpose. Sometimes, you know, when you to do the work that is aligned with your purpose, it may take several milestones to get there. It's not like a straight line. So she had done a great milestone, but then she realized she was ready. There is more for her to do to fully align work with her purpose. And so she came back to me to help her clarify that and actually be able to take step and actualize that in the world. And she, as a result, she identified that she wanted to start a business and work around design facilitation. She is skilled at facilitating workshops, so design facilitation and doing that for groups or organizations with more particular around that. And today she came to me because she, as well for the marketing, she wants to be out there, so to be more visible on social media, to do videos, to share posts or blog posts, and she realized she is afraid of doing it, which is very common, by the way, the fear of being visible. And initially the fear that she told me was the fear of being not liked and being judged by people, and the fear of that. So there is two ways I could have addressed that. So sometimes people address that would go into maybe potentially solution mode right away without diving deeper into what was going on. Normally a good coach would actually dive deeper, but it happens sometimes, you know, there's temptation to, okay, let me brainstorm ideas about how to get unstuck. But for me, I was like, which often what I do with my clients, I'm like, let's just really listen what exactly is going on to see what is actually needed in this situation. So I got very curious and ask her with compassion, and I have processes to do that in a way that is very feel very safe for my clients, even if it can be terrain that are uncomfortable to talk about, to identify what is actually the worst fear underneath it. And so we had a deeper coaching around that. And as we talked about that, there is something underneath the fear. She actually revealed to me that there was an event that happened a long time ago in her life that I'm gonna keep, you know, confidential, that was very traumatic for her. And she had a lot of shame around. And that underneath the fear, there was this shame of this event reappearing in some ways in her life, or being, you know, revealed in her life in some ways. And so the deeper reason why she was afraid was actually this deeper shame that she had been holding in herself for 10 or 15 years. And this need to be actually talked about, clarified, and addressed. If we hadn't talked about that and go quickly to the solution, that would have worked. There is, if I go back to this here, a need is where the inner transformation. If there is something deeper in her, that old shame that she was still carrying in her system, that was actually holding her back from taking action. And instead of finding the quick fixes, which would have worked long term, sometimes before we take action, we need to do a deeper dive. That is not always the most comfortable initially, but I can tell you this is what guarantees sustainable results. And this is why I have been successful in my career and my business, because I haven't been afraid to dive deep and look at what is actually going on inside of me, all the shame, all the hurts, all the wounds, feeling of fear of not being good enough, all the things that are underneath that is stop sabotaging our success in the outside world. So this needs to be addressed if we want that to move. And so in our case, we look at this deeper shame. And like in the case for shame, we often, the first thing is just listening with compassion and letting the shame out. You know, this is a process a bit more, sometimes a bit more therapeutic in nature, but it's the deeper coaching that I do with my client, combined with the coaching with the more external action and steps. And this is why we combine the two, you really get to the result. And so in her case, we look, you know, we take the time to look at the shame. Already she was feeling better at the end of the session about it, and more, she had hope. But in the case, this needs to be addressed, because otherwise the fear is going to still stay there, because there is something else motivating, explaining the fear. There might be somebody else that might have the same fear of being visible in social media, but don't have the same shame underneath. So that may be a different solution for them. So, but for her, we need to look at that. And as a result, at the end of the session, she felt better, she was lighter, she had hope, and she had concrete action steps that she needs to take. How to continue addressing the shame, to liberate, to free herself from this old shame, so she can actually feel brave enough to take the step to be visible. And I know that as she takes these steps and she moves here, when she's ready, this is gonna move, and gonna move way faster, and in a way that's gonna be way more sustainable. And I see that, I can tell you, I've seen that over and over with my client. Not the exact, this is a specific example I told you, but I've seen that in all kind of way and form and shape all the time. When we get stuck, we need to look deeper. And the more we look deeper, this move along. We need to address the two aspects to get from point A to point B. And this is one of the things I love in my work is addressing these two parts. And what my client love, and why the coaching is more effective and sustainable, to not do like a patch up on the outside or clean up, but actually to do the transformation that's going to be lasting and effective in the long term in your career, whether you want to step more into your leadership, align the career more with your purpose, doing the work that makes a difference in the world, or whatever it is around the career that you want to advance in terms of more purpose and leadership and meaning. This is the way to go. So yeah, I would love to hear what's coming up for you when I say that. Maybe a part where you are stuck, maybe an intuitive hit that maybe this may be why you may be stuck, because there might be something deeper to look at in a gentle and compassionate way. When I do that with my client, it's just with lots of care, compassion, taking them exactly where they're at, not trying to force the process. This part requires a lot of gentleness and empathy when we talk about the inner transformation and the inner roadblocks for people. And I love it. I have many tools that I use with my client. I just share one, but I have so many ones that I work depending on the situation. So if you feel like, this is speaking to me in some way, and you are curious and you want maybe to tell me about your situation or explore how potentially I could help you, feel free to share in the comment. You can say, share in the comment that whatever you need, or you can reach out to me also by email, and I'm happy to see how I can support you on that, because this is what I find so effective. So I wish you all the best for you to shine fully in your career, in your life, in your leadership, in the way that is truly authentic for you and in the most powerful way you can do. And the more we look at this inner transformation, I guarantee you, the more you're going to step in a way that is fully authentic, powerful, and impactful, genuinely impactful in the world, not faking it on the outside, but actually coming from a place of authenticity, from a place of authentic power and inspiration that actually make an impact on the people that you are here to serve, or on the causes you are here to help, or whatever it is for you that is meaningful and important to you.